Welcome to season 3. Episode 44 of Pineapples and Thorns. Hey guys.
What does season 3 mean?
We've
I
been
don't know.
canceled twice.
Oh,
I thought we'd skip season 2 and just go straight to season 3. Just
well,
kidding.
well, we are going to talk mostly about Town Hall 15, and we have talked about other town halls in the past, and we're all three from Redthorn, so I guess it's kind of like a new season.
There we go. How's everybody tonight?
We are sweaty from getting off the treadmill 3 minutes before before the the start of this episode. It is very cold out. There's a little bit of snow on the ground, but not the walks, but it's icy. So I've taken my exercise indoors.
Good thinking.
Wise plan. I heard Peter got snow.
Oh, yes, the big TO got 5 centimeters, so of course it crippled the city. We did not have to call in the army, so it was good.
2
Phew, that's
inches.
early.
2 inches. I mean, I know Buffalo's got like 4 feet in the forecast this weekend. We've got about 1.5 feet. Peter, if you're on the other side of the Lake Ontario, do you get that much?
No, so they get what we call lake effect snow. So the wind blows down Lake Erie and dumps the snow on Buffalo, and I'm just north of Ontario, Lake Ontario, I mean. So that lake effect snow ends up in Watertown and down towards Syracuse way. So we actually don't get any lake effect snow here. But
Yeah.
we are going to have to cancel our plans. We were headed to see my niece in Connecticut. So the snow in Buffalo is going to prevent us from going, just in case we get stuck on the I-90 somewhere between here and there.
I think the real reason was something about, Border Patrol here in America. You're on their list.
It's
It's on the
possible.
list.
It's possible.
Well, we won't talk about how much snow we have here in Winnipeg, so.
Go ahead, tell us. Tell us how
A
much
lot.
wimps we are. Yeah.
Right.
It was like one day it was like a beautiful autumn day. The next day it was like instant mid-January cold and I don't know, 30 centimeters of snow.
Yeah, but do the conversion to Ontario snow. That's about the same as 5 centimeters over there, right?
Pretty much. So we just, put on a sweater and go outside.
Well, I switched to the some winter scenery in Clash, so I'm hearing the holiday, the festive music and everything. So
Excellent. Can't wait for those Santa spells to arrive. Let's jump into CFF news, Peter.
Super duper. So just this past weekend, we did the recall event hosted by our friends BG and Whip from Phoenix Reloaded. So the recall event, in case you didn't catch up on this, you needed to use just a recall spell in each of your attacks. I just mixed it into my Super Archer Blimp thing, recalled the archers. I did not triple. Were you in that war, Fado?
I was, and I was just crippled by losing 2 spell space. I mean,
Yeah.
I just don't know what the heck to do with it. If it turns out you either need all the invis or the extra rage or an extra clone to really, get the advantage of that Super Archer blimp.
Yes.
So, there were a couple, there was a bad 2-star and then a decent 2-star, but 2 stars win wars.
Right on. How about you, Kat? How did you fare?
About the same as Fado. It was an interesting experiment. I think it was fun to use it on. I think one of my attacks I did like a hybrid, and so on the queen charge, just grabbing the queen and pulling her and being able to drop her somewhere else before she died in the Giga Poison. That was useful.
Yes.
But I'm not really sure on smash attacks how you would use them, like with spam or anything.
Again, just like you would there, I think you'd have to funnel with something, maybe the warden, and then draw him back, or a P.E.K.K.A. or something that you needed somewhere else. It's interesting. It's a really unique spell. I mean, I just haven't found the use for it yet, and neither have the YouTubers. So
I think it was a fun idea because it forced people who probably have never touched it to integrate it into an attack. So even if they never use it again.
And I mean, we're just talking as 15s. There were some 12s, and there was some creative stuff going on in the lower town halls.
Yeah, for sure. They had to get it donated, right? So
yes, they did.
So that was great. SCWL has passed also. Red Thorn promoted to Champs 3, so congratulations to us. We did run 42 Town Hall 15s, and I think everybody got their 8 stars, even though we were through a rotation, so that was fun and exciting. I think I missed somebody. Somebody got missed out on the rotation. Royd, maybe? So,
I
but
think
even
so.
he got his 8 stars, so that was
Yep.
great. I don't know what we're going to do next month, because now we'll have back to champs. Maybe we need to think about splitting up, so we'll have to be part of the discussion in the
Mhm.
next week or two before it happens again. The rated, I didn't have an account in the rated because we split off to put the really little accounts in Dark Allegiance. So Raz opened the doors for us there, and we were able to run 30s. So,
Uh-huh.
Town Hall 8s and everything were in there. And we did well there too. Do you remember how we did in the rated?
I think we just it was status quo. We didn't
Yeah.
promote, we didn't demote. We just did our thing there.
Yeah, treaded water.
Hmm. Pretty much.
But the
And
matchups were decent then because, of course, none of the low town halls were there.
Yeah.
yeah, and we still were outweighed through it for the most part, but there were I mean, on the flip side, there were actually a couple wars where I just looked at my mirror and I was like, wow, a 13.
Yeah. What account are you running there?
That's a fourth. Well, I'm not going to call it a 13 and a half because a half used to denote something.
Right.
It's my 14. That's
The Greek letter guy.
yeah. It's
Yes.
probably about halfway through. It's got most of the major defenses in the town hall done, most of the troops done, all the heroes done. The pets are about in the 7-8 range.
Dado, I hate to tell you this, but I think you might have the only Town Hall 14 in all of Clash of Clans right now.
Come down to like Champs 2. You'll find them.
That's where they all are.
Yeah.
Very good. And then speaking of Town Hall 14s, our very own Cat was selected for the Reddit Town Hall 15. Or no, I guess this was a Reddit mods versus Reddit subscribers. Cat, will you tell us a little bit more about that event you entered?
Yeah, it was the Reddit moderators versus Clashers war. And it was a 50v50 war in celebration of the subreddit hitting 500,000 members, from what I read on the information details. So they had 1,000 people sign up for it, and they drew 50. And I was quite shocked to be one of the lucky ones to be chosen.
I wasn't shocked you were chosen. Like, whenever it comes to like gift boxes and all this stuff going on Twitter, somehow you end up with the goods.
Pretty sure Magnus ends up winning more.
You must admit, though, Kat is very active on Twitter and all those things. Like, I see her posting quite a bit of things, so I'm not sure her hit rate is as high as maybe it is in Clash for Twitter, but
See, that's pretty sad then.
oh,
But
it's supposed to be a compliment. Take it.
take it and run. But
Edit
the
that
war
out.
itself,
Edit that out.
Yeah.
the war itself was last weekend as well. So it was a busy weekend for me because I was in the recall event plus the Reddit war.
Were you running a separate account in each?
Yeah.
And you had a 15?
I ran 2 accounts in the total recall war, and one of my 15s over in the Reddit war.
Okay.
It was a lot of fun. I didn't know anybody on the Clashers side, but there was a lot of great players there. Everybody seemed to be having a good time.
Was there a social aspect to that at all, like voice or anything?
No, there was no voice. I think the time zones were all over the place, so I think they had hoped to get some kind of voice thing going, but it just didn't work out. But the moderators seemed to be having a lot of fun. There was a lot of banter in the event server about it, who was hitting who. And our good friend Cool Rick was in there on a few of his accounts, and Carl got to stream the last couple of hours of the Reddit war, and so Cool Rick hit my base on stream, and he 2-starred. So
Woohoo!
I was happy that I defended. So it was a lot of fun. I had a really good time.
And please tell us who won.
We did. Clashers won. I think the
Clashers
final
won.
score was 139 to 134.
Oh, that's pretty close, though. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a super close war, and like I said, everybody had a great time. So thanks to the Reddit mods for putting that on. It was great.
And was that a mixed breakdown war?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So now Reddit is going to run an all Town Hall 13 war. They're hoping for, I think, 64 signups, maybe 128 signups.
128 was
right.
what they're shooting for.
And then they're going to do 2 rounds of 32, like day 1, day 2. So this is only for Town Hall 13s because they skipped over Town Hall 14 because I think they think there aren't enough of them.
Right.
Jump right down to Town Hall 13. I have an almost max 13 now. Inconvenient. I have maybe 100 walls to go, but I am not going to be able to participate. I will be away that weekend traveling, so I just can't guarantee that I could get my hits in, although it sounded like it would be a
Yeah.
lot of fun.
And I did not sign up for that one, unfortunately. I have too much on my plate over the next week or so as well. So
Is your 13 max?
yeah, I have a max 13 and a max 12. And
No wonder you don't want any more accounts.
I have a max Town Hall too.
Right on.
And one thing you didn't mention is how well our Town Hall 2 clan did with
Well,
SCCWL.
go ahead. Take it away.
We
Actually,
won 6 out of 7 wars.
Kat decided to spin our All Town Hall 2 clan into, I think we were in Crystal 3. No, Gold 3.
Bronze 3.
Bronze 3.
Yeah.
The bottom. Yes, and we won 6 out of 7 wars against crazy breakdowns.
Yeah, I think the only clan we lost to was the All Town Hall 2 clan that we faced, but they had thrown, I think, a 9 and a 10 in their war. And yeah, the wars were all pretty close.
And we used many of our attacks, which was really nice. So many people were actually attacking.
Mm-hmm. And it was super fun to do it at that level.
So I'll have to keep going on trying to get us a Town Hall 2 event, just so it is pure 2s. We did spend one more, and we all got baby dragons, and the baby dragon can almost wreck a Town Hall 2 on its own. So. Yeah, you've seen it. Fado, do you have a Town Hall 13?
I don't.
Okay.
I do not.
Fair enough. And then the last piece of CFF news is, oh no, it's not the last piece. There's more coming. The Magirian army, though, is going for win number 800.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hopefully this will release before they actually spin, but they're going to spin on Saturday. So that will be November 19th.
Yep.
And going for win number 800.
That's amazing.
That's a lot of wins.
It is a lot of wins, isn't it? I think I will now be able to enter that because I wasn't going to be able to. I'll have to go sign up.
Yep, make sure you do.
And then the following weekend, Noble Hero is going to host a friendly war. They're calling it Clash Thanksgiving. And you're going to roll the dice to determine what army comp you'll get to use. And it's everything from, you just get barbs and archers and a skeleton spell to all dark troops to, I think if you get to bring dessert, number 6, you get to bring your own comp. So it'll be a mixed breakdown. Town Hall 15 all the way down to Town Hall 9. So just about everybody should be able to participate.
Is that a friendly war? Or?
It will be a friendly, yes. Noble Hero versus Noble Hero 2. So they can take up to 100 people. So sign up if that sounds like fun.
Excellent.
Okay, now I think that's the end of the news.
That's the end of the events?
Yes.
Okay. Well, Fado,
all right.
You've got something to talk about.
I do. Builder Base 2.0. I mean, this has been as highly anticipated as a hemorrhoid. Or, maybe Town Hall 15. But they are working on it. And because, I think I've joked before, and I even made a meme a long time ago mocking like the number, like the day of the month. And so, I had this nice little graph that was basically showed this huge like spike in usage around clan games, just as a joke, because that's when, everyone went into Builder Base. Other than that, after once you got to like Builder Hall 7, you're kind of like, is that it? And some of us still slogged it out. Some of us still got, one of my accounts is max and the other one just has some walls left. So, eventually you do, whether you're interested or not, you end up racking up the enough resources to max it out by now, because it's probably been out 5 years roughly, I'm guessing. And it's been a great source of gems. By now you get 4 or 5 a day, depending if you're boosting and things like that. So every little bit counts. But they are reworking it. There was a blog this week by Sturt. So for all my Letterkenny peeps, you know what Sturt is. Um, so Itsu put out a video, but he's kind of just reacting to it. And it's interesting. Itsu usually knows what's going on one way
Right.
or another.
Mhm.
He's such a big, figure in the community. So, um, there's going to be some changes. So the first one is no more versus battles, and if they're going the way of Legends or something like that with this, then okay, yeah, I can see it because the last thing they want to do is introduce like clouds into this, and I've never run into clouds in the builder base. But Cat and Peter, do you have any thoughts? Like, so if Versus goes away, is Legends like a Legends-esque way of doing it going to be what they do, or do you have any other thoughts?
Well, I mean, right now, and like you get your 3 attacks per day that you get rewards for, right?
Hmm.
And then you can still attack more than that, but you're not going to get any loot. So are they going to make it where maybe they'll increase the number of raids you can do? Like, I mean, if they get rid of the verses, what are they going to let you do? Just raid other people's villages for loot? I'm not really sure where that's going to take us.
I do like the idea of not having the versus battle. I don't know how many times I would make my attack and then the other guy's trickling in sneaky archers, and you're stuck for 2.5 minutes watching this guy trickle in archers. So it's appealing. I kind of like
Yeah.
the idea. I mean, it was their first maybe venture into somewhat of an esport type of thing where you could attack each other at the same time.
Hmm.
So I hope they figure it out. It did have its moments. I remember early days, like I'm still or restarted working on some of my smaller accounts, and it's fun, right? It's hard to triple, but it's rewarding if you do.
Yeah. I mean, and I think it's a mention, like, especially at the lower levels, like when you're first starting out, it's fun because, you've only got certain types of troops and,
Yeah.
it's challenging to get that triple. And I had to agree. I think the game was a lot more fun at the lower levels of Builder Base.
Hmm. And that's something that Itsu noted that
Hmm.
it was still fresh and new and pretty easy to upgrade, right? And
Hmm.
ultimately, you ended up at a place where you were just gunning for the sixth builder, so you could really rush certain things
Hmm.
um, at certain points in time. But so yeah, I tend to agree with that. So they also say they want to adjust gameplay so that defense matters and skilled play will matter. Well, I don't fancy myself a terribly skilled player of anything anymore. But there's a P.E.K.K.A. hog attack that I usually use to try and get my loot or whatever, and you know it's interesting. Like defense definitely matters because that's almost an all or nothing hit. Like there's just as many triples as there are 0 stars with that.
Hmm.
So I'll be interested to see what they have in mind for that. Do you guys have any ideas on how you know how does they make defense matter more?
I think some of the idea was to make the skill matter was how many times have you also tripled, like you both have tripled, but he beats you by half a second or a second, and so
Hmm.
therefore you lose the challenge. That's a little bit
Right.
frustrating. So I think they're going to maybe base it on 100% destruction gives you 100% of whatever bonus they're trying to give us. I don't know. I hope they figure it out.
It'll
Yeah.
be interesting to see what they come up with for sure.
Yeah, and I can tell you that forever. I mean, I once got in the 5,000 range, and I've just kind of floating along anywhere from like 48, 46, 4,800 whenever I'm
Hmm.
like looking at it, paying attention. And I only do my hits to get, and this is might be another reason when they're looking at it. Like it's either for clan games, or for get the 20 points for the season, every day.
Hmm.
Right.
Um, just get your star and leave or whatever. But and so yeah, I floated along in this one trophy range, but I peaked today. So last season, the top 3 builder base guys were in the 7,200s.
Holy
Wow.
smokes.
Yeah, and this season, so we're probably, I don't know, the last day of the season. Is it going to be next Monday? I can't do the math right now. No, it's going to be in 2 Mondays. So from today, that's 12 days, the 28th, and they're at 6,600 right now, the leaderboard. So, and interestingly, like the guy who won last season is some guy named Ali something YT. So I'm like, YT could be YouTube. So I looked at
Mhm.
his clan, and boom, there it is. Like you can go. He's got like a whole channel for a little bit of main base, but there's a lot of builder base content he's got on there. So
Holy
there
smokes.
is this whole other builder base world out there.
Well, let me just interject and say that I didn't even know they had seasons on Builder Base. That's
I figured that out when I got to like 5,100 one time. And I'm like, wait, how did I lose, 100 something trophies overnight? And then I was like, oh, yeah. And that was before I'd ever been in Legends.
Cat, you have been to 5230 in
I
Builder
have?
Base. No,
Oh,
Cat
see.
has.
Oh, Cat has. And that was before I'd ever been in Legends.
She doesn't even know their seasons, but she's been at 5200.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that makes Cat the Red Thorn Builder Base captain.
I think it
Oh,
does.
gee,
I think it
thanks.
does. Just another hat for you to juggle. Yeah, so kind of touching on an earlier point, though, they say that defense matters, and but aren't the defenses a bit OP already? Because I mean, your hit rate in there is I don't know what armies people are using. The when I'm just trying to get my points and stuff, it's either the P.E.K.K.A. and Hog or just the Skelly Loon dude with all the minions behind him.
There's a lot of really strong defenses on Builder Base. Like, you've got that giant cannon, you've got the double cannons shooting at you, you've got the Giga Tesla.
Yes.
If you're using air, you've got all those ADs, which if you're hitting a max base, it's pretty deadly.
Yeah, and you can set the pathing up to totally mess with hogs, for instance. Like
Mhm.
if you just put air defenses in front of the double cannons or things
Mhm.
like that, like someone with hogs is just gonna struggle. Like, but
Yeah.
and I'm not one to sit there and look at a base and change my army, even though it doesn't take any time, right? I'm
Right.
just like, well, I'll just give it a whirl, and boom, 47% 0 star. So I'm like, all right, on to the next. Oh, look, sprinkling archers. Okay, well, I guess I'll go read the paper.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's it. Like, I mean, I don't know if they're focusing. Like, think about it like this. So, I think people are going to be a little disappointed because that's the way we are. We're needy friggin'
Mhm.
people, right?
Mhm.
People are going to be a little disappointed if one of their major like quarterly updates, say March, like it turns out to be like Clan Capital but for builder base, and they're like, oh, we've gotten spoiled, and that there's been so many regular updates to the main base on a quarterly basis that
Mhm.
I think the Clan Capital thing's a little bit of a letdown, although the ability to fill your own clan castle is huge. But I just wonder if the natives won't get restless no matter what. Like it could turn out everyone's already jaded on it, so people are going to go into it with
Mhm.
a preconceived notion that it's still builder base, and so they're kind of up against it in that respect.
I think you're right. I hope you're wrong, but I think you're right. We're already going
Yeah.
to be anti builder base because we want more Town Hall 15 content.
And I mean, there's only so much they can do with it, right? Because with Clan Capital, you've got your raid weekends. You've still got clan games, got SECWL. Where is there room to do anything for Builder Base?
Maybe they could introduce a partnership with, like, I don't know, DraftKings or something, and make it like gambling.
Would it be enough to force people? There are certain people that we know that still have not built their boats after all these years.
Yeah, maybe we could just make it for gems, though, right?
It would be interesting to see what happens, I guess.
I
Philip,
love it.
let's jump into some Town Hall 15 stuff. We've been playing it for, gosh, is it a month now already? There's a few people that are close to max. Cough, cough, ace. Are people figuring it out, or are we still hearing that people are frustrated? Peter?
I think people are still frustrated with it. A couple of people in Red Thorn have turned red. They just don't want a war right now. They're just struggling. Maybe they aren't tripling. I don't know. I'm still in Legends, so I triple occasionally, but I'm never sure if it's a bad base or if the attack's just strong.
Yeah.
I'm using that Super Archer blimp with P.E.K.K.A. and E-Titan. It's
Okay.
good. It's easy. It's not. I mean, it's not easy. You just have to kind of pick the right side and hope for the best. I can
Yeah.
1-star just as easily as I can 3-star. I couldn't tell you why necessarily. So I think people are figuring it out.
Yeah. But I think also, you're talking about like, tripling and not tripling. I notice a lot more people have those Invisi spell towers, and we'll talk a little bit more about those. But I mean, these defenses are starting to get maxed, and I think that's having an impact on people's ability to triple, right?
Agreed.
Veda, what were you going to say?
Yeah. So the question is, are people figuring out, or are we hearing about frustrated players? And really, I think it's it's both. I'm watching some people, have a lot of success, and I'm watching people, you know, just getting frustrated, and it kind of sucks on both fronts, right? The people having success, good for them, but it kind of makes it more frustrating for others. And I
Agreed.
feel like I'm I'm not frustrated, but I'm also not really figuring it out. I do think that the thing that seems really powerful right now are the super archer blimps. So
Mm-hmm.
without the extra spell space, but you do get an extra level of archers in there. Um, and I think that has made it even more powerful. So you take the rage component of it, and you're just getting so much more damage output out of them, and then you're cloning these higher level super
Mm-hmm.
archers, and a well placed tornado will stuff people on it, at least on the first hit. And so I think, for instance, like I did a lot of Blizzard to mixed results, and mixed is not 50%, by the way, at Town Hall 14. But I feel like, it's easy to switch to Super Archer Blimp because it's really the same sort of thing. There's a
Mhm.
little bit of a nuance where you want to make sure you're cloning the right things.
Mm-hmm.
And so that has kind of mitigated the frustration for me because I'm confident I can do it. I've come really close. I've had a couple triples, and I've come really close. Like I had a 97 the other day where I was really just annoyed. If I had saved one balloon, I would have had it.
Oh,
But
yeah.
anyway, but it's like when you get married to a meta, like imagine if like the super archer blimp wasn't working that well at Town Hall 15. Like I would be like, well, now what do I do? And I think that's what a handful of the Super Bowler people in our clan are feeling because the Super Bowlers worked very well at 14, and now at
Mm-hmm.
15, um, you know, there's just so much more damage with the monolith and the spell towers. So I understand it's frustrating, but it's a chance for you to take a look and be like, well, do I feel like reinventing the way I play? And thankfully for me, with that going from like doing too many blizzards and failing at 14, it's, you know, set me up okay for 15.
Yeah, and I know you're talking about Blizzard. Like I never really jumped on the Blizzard train at 14. I just was kind of always like nervous about it because it looked so complex. And so finally at 15, I've started using it, and I'm alternating between regular Blizzard and the Super Archer one just to sort of play around with them. And yeah, it's, I think at 15, you really either need to take an existing attack that you've used at 14 and modify it to fit 15, or you have to learn some new stuff.
Yeah, and we're discounting right now. It's not going to be this way come December, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be an update. They're certainly if they're not looking at things like on the back end, and figuring out balancing things, um, then they're nuts. The
Mm-hmm.
Clash folks, the devs. There will be balancing changes. You never know if the monolith is going to get a little bit nerfed. You never know if there will be a new level of bowlers introduced, for
Yeah.
instance. Because when did bowlers come? Like Town Hall 11, I think. Um, and they've always been so squishy, but think of the defenses at 11. Now
Mm,
think of the defenses even at 14 and 15. Like when the bowler was conceived, there was no scatter shot.
yeah.
A scatter shot was 2 town halls later. And like it basically wrecked regular bowlers for good. Uh, at Town Hall 14, I've seen some Yeti bowler that aren't super bowlers, but really, I mean, those things, and until the super bowler came along, bowlers were just like too squishy. And now we're seeing like these defenses they're so strong, and the
Yeah.
poison spell tower so strong. So, and the Town Hall poison, and the Giga Inferno, and all that. Like you never know what's going to be buffed, and so I'm just hoping that we have some great people in our clan. I know some are frustrated, and I just hope they hang on to see what balancing changes will come.
I'm surprised you're saying there's balancing already, though, because are either of you guys got your heroes maxed yet?
Uh, I've got on my main, I've got Queen, Warden, and RC maxed. I need to work my king. Poor guy's neglected.
My heroes are maxed, but my pets are way behind. So I've unlocked all the pets, but Diggy is everything is a level 1, and Diggy is currently going to 4.
Nice.
But
Okay,
I
so
noted though that Diggy's hit points at even level 3 are more than Lassie.
Yeah.
right, the Town Hall 15 pets are very, very strong.
Yeah.
And I'm in the same boat. I think I have level 2 Diggy, level 2 Frosty, and then just working on the Poison Lizard right now, just constantly.
Oh
Yeah, and
man,
then
see a doctor about that, Peter.
the question is which heroes to use them on. I mean, that's still an experimental process, right? You know,
Yes.
so it's kind of hard to give up using some of those old Town Hall 14 pets because everybody's quite fond of the unicorn and the owl.
I'm secretly fond of the yak too. I mean, getting your BK gets right through a wall with that yak.
It's true.
And Frosty's great. I mean, they've written Christmas songs about the guy, but I mean, if you're expecting your BK to break through one of these, next level walls, it's gonna take a bit of time.
Yeah. Let's circle back to the monolith a little bit and the spell towers. Something
Oh,
that was pointed out recently was that the monolith beams, the colors mean something.
Hmm.
I mean, that
which is
kind of
amazing,
blew
right?
everybody away.
Yeah, the light pale green is, it's hitting your archers or your goblins or your skeletons,
Hmm.
and nothing to worry about. And then there's kind of a middling bluish color, and then that's a middle 600 to I think 2,000 hit point stuff. So maybe you need to worry because one of your hogs is going down, or one of your Valkyries, or something. If it depends what you have in there, maybe your Yeti.
I think it's going to be really. Eventually, we'll figure it out. I mean, it's still so new, but that's really going to help with when you need to make something invisible or freeze the darn thing.
Freeze the thing, yeah. When it goes to that dark purple color, that means it's on a high hit point something, right? Your
Hmm.
king or your
It's kind of
queen.
like the single inferno, right?
Yes. Yeah. But you have to react immediately. There's no
Yeah.
there's no waiting to say, oh, it's gonna ramp up in 3, 2, and you got time, right?
Yeah, there is no time. And what about the different spells for the spell towers?
I see the poison as being critical to countering that super archer blimp.
Hmm.
Agreed.
Like between the poison and a tornado, I think you'll have to find the two best entrances for that on a base with more of a centered town hall. And 'cause the poison, oh, that's evil. Like you can't make a blimp invisible, so that poison's going to be there when your
Hmm.
stuff is there. So I'm interested to see how that can be countered. My Clash brain hasn't thought about it yet, but I got nothing. um, the rage is, I mean, they're all deadly in a way. The invis can really screw you up, but I have an invis by my town hall, and people are still getting it easily. So it's still going invisible, but I just think there's too many. I don't know. They're still getting it, so maybe I've got to look into what the heck I'm doing wrong. Um, and the rage, boy, you get some CC troops and that you get the queen in that, you get a scatter in that. And monolith, it's like, oh,
Mhm.
brother. They're all, so I've seen them all, hate them all.
I think it's really going to be fun to see what the base builders do with them, because they might say, okay, well, if you're facing people that you think might be using Lalo on you, set your spell towers to this. If you think you're going to get hit by a super archer blimp, then do this, you know? So I think it gives you a lot of different options.
The only one I really dread is the poison. I will make a move to not land near it now
Yeah.
with the super archer blimp.
Yeah,
Invisibility, we outlast it, right? We have 5 invisibility spells to counter that, so
true, true. What about the new siege, the drill? Have you guys used it? Have you seen it used?
I think I've seen it used. I personally have yet to deploy a single one.
wait a minute, you had max ones almost immediately.
I had max to donate. Right now, it's going to 3 in my lab because I just had the right scratch for that at the last when my last upgrade completed. I'm not watching a lot of streams right now. Work's been killing me, so I'd love to see if anyone at the pro level has mixed that in. I think I've seen a couple, but I can't remember who, and I can't remember the results.
Our good friend Michigan's been using it in his hybrid attacks,
Yes.
and quite
That's where I
successfully.
experimented with it too, because
Yeah,
it does stun. That stuns like Diggy stuns, and
yeah,
that's critical right now when you have so much incoming damage to slow it up a bit.
yeah. I think it works really, really well with hybrid. I'm not really sure what other attacks that it would be effective for, but I'm sure people are playing around with it and figuring that out. So hopefully we'll see it used a little bit more. And have you guys seen any new comps? Like, I know we talk about the Super Archer blimp, but have you seen anybody being super creative with anything?
I think some of the stuff, I not really on the comp side, but what I'm seeing in getting the blimps places is more creative. Like we just went up against the Champs One clan, and they just had the guts to do things without the Warden or a Lava Hound,
Yeah.
and it worked.
Mm-hmm.
Either that, or some of the super loons tanking, like getting out and clearing out traps and all that. For that's really creative, and that's really cool. And so I do appreciate seeing that. The people who are making hybrid work, and I know it's not a new comp, but my hat's off to them. I've seen some pretty dreadful hybrid, um, around, and I'm not saying on our clan. And
You're looking
so,
at me or what? Yeah.
no, not at all. Great. I'll be in your shade out now, right? So, anyway, but yeah, it's it's just really cool seeing people trying to figure this out.
There was some discussion in the Redthorn clan chat today about, instead of deploying the blimp kind of as its separate self, with the Warden or with balloons or whatever to tank,
Mm-hmm.
to make it part of like a Super Dragon deployment or maybe an E-Drag deployment where you get all the stuff down, get it started, and then send the blimp. So now your Warden works on your main troops, will likely survive because it will have all those tanking things, plus get your blimp into where it wants to go. I think it was Kronk and Redbeard, maybe. I forget who the guys were talking about it, but it jogged my brain, to say, yeah, the Warden we're giving up on the Warden when he is so valuable to give extra hit points
Hmm.
later on, right? Just from his aura. So,
Good point.
back to the drawing board again. So,
Was it not last war against that Champs One clan? Didn't one of their people do a mass super minion attack
I missed
Yes,
that.
with a super
yes,
archer blimp?
they did a yeah. So it was interesting. So what the pattern was that they would send in their main army. So imagine this being more of a teaser type of base. They would send their main army from one side, and then the super archer and heroes from and blimp and all that more from, I don't know, a little bit offset from it,
Mm-hmm.
and pop the super archers while everything else is going on, and the super arch and so I'm sorry, they pop the warden for the blimp to get to the other side, and all during that time those super minions or the dragons and drag riders and all that, they're protected for going right into the eagle or something.
Mm-hmm.
um, and that was the pattern. And the other pattern was, well, if it's a centered town hall, just get that super archer blimp close. But the super minion thing, it caught me off guard, but it worked, and my hat was off to him. And in chat, our clan chat, we're like, that was really cool. What are you going to say?
Yeah, kudos to them, because it was.
Mhm.
I haven't seen anything like that for a very long time. Even at 14, like you saw super minions used at the very beginning when they came out, but most people haven't touched them really since, other than for defense. So let's talk a little bit about the potential December update, also known as Clashmas. What do you guys think Supercell can do for us?
I'm so down with the new perk levels. That would be great. I would love to, as long as they're actively monitoring needed balance changes, I'm fine with it. And even if they're getting that input from pros or whatever, it doesn't bother me, because at the end of the day, those are the ones we end up looking to for new strats and metas.
Right. Yeah, because I know we have talked about how level 10 you get 9 troop donations, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it would be quite nice to be able to donate 10, because if you're donating, someone's requesting 10 hogs and you can only donate 9, then either they have to self-donate or wait to request again.
I still disagree. I like the idea of more than one person having to fill a clan castle.
Oh, you're so argumentative, Peter.
I don't mean to be. I think they've given us so much from a clan castle point of view. Like, if you want it filled, just fill it yourself. Right?
This is true. Okay.
So
I think he's just disagreeable, really,
He
isn't he,
is.
Kat? No.
He's so ornery.
It's because I had to brush off 4 cars this morning. I only drive one, but
5 centimeters. It's 2 inches.
5 centimeters.
Okay, what about a larger clan size, or perhaps even 35-person wars? Like, so many times, we have close to 50 people in the clan, but people are upgrading this, that, and the other thing. And, you have 36 green. So then that means you have to either try and scrounge 4 people to be in the war, or you have to sit 6 people so you can spin a 30.
Yeah, I'm not sure why they dropped out 35 and 45, other than, it's just hard to get matches all the time for people. But we match so fast now. It seems like you spin and we're matched.
Yep, Cat's got the magic touch. Champs won, yeah.
Champs win clans. Woo. What about some new super troops?
Love it. Still looking for a super hog, or maybe super minor. Maybe we'll give Michigan super hybrid.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Or super golem.
Super golem. What would the super golem do?
I bet he'd be like that dude in Clan Capital.
Yeah.
Yeah. Breaks
Wouldn't
the walls
that be
too.
something?
You imagine the troop space? That'd be a lot of troop space.
But even if it was 60, even if it was double, that would be okay, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't need super wall breakers then to kind of tidy that along.
I think a lot of the super troops are more than a multiple of 2. Not to be pedantic here, but
you're
like
absolutely right. Yeah.
A super barb is like 5, whereas a regular is 1. And so I would worry they'd be like, hey, yeah, you can have this cool new toy. Right.
150 troop space.
That's the only thing in your army.
Yeah.
And we can almost guarantee they're going to give us some more walls.
Yeah. I'm almost halfway through with my initial batch.
Yeah, I'm not even close.
Well, it's all my it's all I have for all my elixir goes there. And I'm not in Legends anymore, so I can just farm to my heart's content.
What about some more defenses? There's obviously going to be some.
Nope, we don't need it. It should take some away. Take them away.
New sweeper levels.
Oh, okay.
Tesso levels. There's got to be more coming.
I don't think they need to do it right now.
They don't need to. No.
Not until everyone's pets are upgraded. I don't think they need any more defensive power.
No, I agree. But...
Now, if you ask me if I think they will at some point, I say heck yeah, because theming, you got green Teslas and green scatters on our purple map, and now on Wizard Towers used to be so easy to pick out. They were those purple things.
Mm-hmm.
Now everything's purple.
Everything's purple.
I'm freezing gold storages.
Except for the air defenses. Those are not purple.
But have you seen a new Wiz Tower? Like a fully maxed Wiz Tower? I think they stand out. They're like the gold storage. They're just unique again.
That's why I'm freezing gold storages.
Attaboy.
They look like clan castles.
4 stars for Fado.
So one thing I wanted to mention before we jump into some fun things is there's a brand new Clash of Clans podcast that just was released today. It's called Clash Cast, and it's hosted by Coco, a streamer, Sir Ironheart, who's a base builder at Strut, and one of our good friends, Hold My Beer. He was formerly with Axe You Something, Space Station Gaming, and I believe he's currently working with War and Glory. And their first episode just came out, so we're looking forward to listening to them. And their shows are available on Spotify or YouTube. Kudos to them.
They pay us for this promo or what?
Nope, but I was just thinking it's always nice to see more Clash content coming out, and it's just a sign that the game is still alive and well. And
yeah, Hold My Beer will have a great perspective because he's played and he's managed. So he's going to bring an interesting angle to it, I think.
Yeah, and it's focused on the esports side of things, so that's going to be interesting to listen to.
Yeah, so for all their scenery and queenskin discussion, you can still come here to Pineapples and Thorns.
Exactly. This is the important podcast here.
Yeah.
This is the fun one. So let's jump into some fun things. Top 5 things to do in winter. Fado, take it away.
Well, my number one thing to do is dread. Just dread. I don't want to get out of bed. It's 10 degrees out and there's 20 feet of snow. And
I thought you meant like dreadlocks or...
No, dread. Not judge. There's an A.
Judge Dredd.
That's funny because my number 5 is shovel. I love to shovel. Like there's just something about a clean driveway once the snow comes, the neighbors are still sleeping and your driveway's done. I often run across the road. I have an elderly neighbor across the road and I'll shovel out the driveway.
Love it.
And then if the guy's not up next door, I go over and start shoveling his out. So
yeah. In other words, waking him up when he's trying to sleep off tying one on the night before.
I only use a shovel, no snowblower.
My number 5 is sitting in front of a fire.
Oh,
that's nice. When it's like minus 40 out there, and
that's minus 40 in Fahrenheit.
Yes, and at 10 degrees Fahrenheit, I want to make clear was my observation. Yes,
that's my number 5.
All right, my number 4 is tying right back to my number 5, and that's just complaining. I love to complain. Like, what a complainer. And then, then I turn on the charm and I'm like, well, in 4 months, you're going to be wishing it was cold out. So, I'm that guy, but I'll sit there inside and be like, oh God, the roads are icy. Why we live here?
On the heels of that, my 4th favorite thing is fishtailing. I love 4-wheel slide if I can get it. I love it when my subdivision is not plowed and I'm the first guy going out.
You guys are such rebels.
Happy to have all 4 wheels sliding.
So, Peter, will we see you featured on Our Idiots in Cars anytime soon?
Nah.
Okay, good.
I won't do it if anybody else is around. I don't do it if my kids are in the car, usually. Sometimes I'll show... Well, they need to learn, if you're sliding, this is how you recover out of a slide. So sometimes it's important. I never do it with Mama in the car. She does not like it.
Well, you would have a festival of that had you driven to Connecticut this weekend.
I think I might have just been stuck behind some guy who wouldn't go, his BMW and his sporty tires. Spin.
Well, my number 4 is boring, and I just put down skating.
Very good.
Well, my hat's off to you. That's something so when I was almost 8, we moved from Chicago to Houston, Texas, where I lived for about 12 years. And the winter before we moved, I had just learned to ice skate. And I was getting like decent at it, And of course, then we moved and I didn't try ice skating again until I was an adult. And that was just comical. It was like a camel on a frozen pond, just legs and limbs everywhere. So anyway, okay, you were asking for my 3rd, I bet, and I'm taking over yours. So my 3rd favorite thing is to, let's just say, do all the dad stuff with the kids. So my son plays hockey, my daughter does cheer, and it keeps us very busy in the winter. So you go from the sideline cheer, which is football, to the competitive cheer, which is all the competitive stuff, and it's pretty impressive what the little, that's little, they're 15, 16, high school girls, what they do. And my son is just really loving hockey. He falls out of love the second the season's over, and he talks about quitting, and then he goes to the first couple practices of the year and just loves it again. So their enthusiasm for what they do gives me a lot of warm fuzzies.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
That's good. My number 3 is there's an ice cream that comes out this time of year. It's a candy cane ice cream, kind of a limited edition. I love that stuff.
That peppermint stick.
It's peppermint. Yeah, that's the one.
Nice. My number 3 is going tobogganing.
Oh,
To
how did I
bundle up,
leave off sledding and tobogganing?
take the dogs, throw them on a toboggan, and go sliding down the hill.
That's so much fun.
Do they pull you back up the hill?
No.
No.
To ski lift or anything?
Carry me.
My number 2 is watching. Okay, you guys will get this, I think. I'm not sure if any listeners down south will get this, but when there's new fallen snow that isn't super wet, and it's really coming down like 4 or 5, 6 inches overnight or whatever, and you could just go sit outside and hear a pin drop. The snow muffles the sound. It is so tranquil. I love, I hate every other effect of a snowstorm. It's dangerous to drive. School gets called off. Power can go out. You name it. But there is a real peace when it's happening. If you're safe in your house, you can just pop your head out and listen. And it's crazy how quiet it is, and it's just pretty.
I agree. I agree. There's nothing like that.
My number 2 is watching the World Junior Hockey Championships on TV.
Ooh.
Both my kids played hockey. Both my boys played hockey. The girls watched an awful lot. And but now it's our thing. We sit down on Boxing Day and watch the Canadian juniors and get some good cheers, and it's fun.
Nice. My number 2 is walking in the snow. It's just so much fun to take the dogs and watch them. They have this pure joy, my guys, about the snow, and especially Rocky. Like, he'll just go to the deepest snow he can find and roll in it, and he's just in his glory. So yeah, just taking them for walks in the snow was a lot of fun.
All right, my number 1 is just celebrate. The first half of cold season here has Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, and then after that, it sets in the dread again, because there's after all that's done, at least here, you still got like 2.5 months of kind of slogging it out until birds start chirping and the sun reappears. But yeah, there's a lot of family time. We know what we're doing for Thanksgiving. We know American Thanksgiving. We know what we're doing for Christmas, and we know what we're doing for New Year's. And now we're going to Chicago for a couple days to see my family. So yeah, everything's lined up, and it'll feel a little hectic, but it always feels that way when you're in the moment, and you step out of that moment a couple days later and you think, God, that was really nice.
Yeah. My number 1 is a thing of the past, unfortunately for me, but it was Christmas hockey tournaments with the boys. It was often a travel tournament. So we'd be out of town, Christmas morning, open the presents, pack up, and get to the next town to have the hockey tournament. It was a good bonding experience for us. I'm going to miss it.
My number 1 is just going out, making a snowman. When you get that perfect snowman snow. It's a little bit wet, and you go out there and you can make a really nice snowman. It's a lot of fun.
And that's usually about July, right? When you get the perfect
It's usually
snowman
July
snow?
for me, yeah.
Yeah, because every other season it's too damn cold.
I have been known to take a wagon over to the local skating rink and haul wagon loads of snow back to the backyard for the dogs. So
I think I've seen that picture of Rocky laying on that pile.
Yeah. Let's jump into some shout outs then. Beto?
All right. I'd like to shout out the good people who put together the Total Recall war and who put up with me saying, "See you at the party, Richter." And for acknowledging that yes, that line did come from the movie. Now shut up and do your attacks. So thanks to all those good people. And of course, thanks for my clanmates for, being so supportive of everybody in the clan, and, looking out for each other and making sure that, if anyone's struggling, we'll be there for you. Come and chat our ears off. Just, if you're that frustrated, just promise me you don't leave the Discord server.
Right.
Yep. Peter?
My shout out is to Raz for opening the door at Dark Alliance so we could get some minis into SCWL. Those medals are extremely valuable. We didn't get a whole ton, but enough to get a hero book, or excuse me, a hero hammer. So that's always nice. You don't have to farm up that last level of, Town Hall 10 King or what have you. And also to Miss P and Miss P's boyfriend, because they're about to get hammered with snow. So I kind of feeling for those guys. Oh, by the way, did I tell you he started an account in, I guess it was Memorial Day?
Mm-hmm.
No, I think it was Labor Day he started. And he already has a Town Hall 9 with middling heroes and a Town Hall 8. Like, one account wasn't enough. He had to have 2 already. So, shout out to him.
Yeah, they really, changed the times and amounts for
Mm-hmm.
heroes and stuff. You can really get your town hall up quickly, and good for him for showing how it's done.
Exactly.
Awesome. My shout out is to the guys over at Reddit for putting on an amazing event. It was really well run. So shout out to Spencer and Cool Rick and all the team over there. So that's that for shout outs and shade outs. Do you guys have any shade outs?
Yeah, I want to shade out my upper left leg, which for a year and a half has been a problem. And I got an MRI, and there's nothing conclusive. So I just want an alligator to eat my leg off at this point. So, and then the next podcast, I'll shade out the alligator who ate my leg.
Peter?
My shout out is to Carl. I was posting my birthday just passed, so my kids bought me a putting mat, and I was posting a picture of my cat. Just loves lying on this mat. As soon as I roll it out, she is on it, and then have a target, and she lays beside the target. So if the ball goes anywhere near it, she blocks it away. And of course, Carl had to say something about, oh God, Red Thorn's Discord has become another foot pick thing. So my shout out is to him.
And my shade out is I was debating whether I was going to do this shade out or not, but I thought, why not? Shade out to Hero and Woo for jumping to season 2 of their podcast instead of waiting till after they reached episode 50. So shade out to them. But you guys know that we love you. So. And thank you everybody for listening. The CFF is a family of clans in games such as Clash of Clans, Clash Royale, and many of the other Supercell games. We love to provide content via podcasts and other media. You can visit the Clash Files Discord to apply to any of our clans or to support our pods and events. As always, please send us your comments and questions on Twitter at RedthornCOC or join the Clash Files Discord at discord.gg/clashfiles.